Shalom, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh Bar Hashem Yahweh Shai Bar Hashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Sincere shalom to all you Arkim that be pushing this word in faith and in truth and in sincerity. As always, I start by saying we are the true Hebrew Israelites, the real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics and Native Americans, you West Indians and you West Africans predominantly, and our descendants. We are the true descendants of the man in the Bible that was named Israel. So we are the true Jews. The word Jew goes back to the head tribe of Israel, which is Judah, which in Hebrew would be Yahawada, which means Yahweh thanks. That's where the term Jew comes from. But Judah is the head tribe of Israel, but we are actually Israelites. If you're from Ephraim, if you're from Manasseh, if you're from Gad, if you're from Reuben, if you're from Benjamin, if you're from Simeon, if you're from Levi, if you're from Manasseh, don't know if there's any I forgot to mention, but basically we are all descendants of the man in the Bible that was named Israel. But this doesn't just apply to the people that I mentioned, aforementioned. This also applies to anybody who may look like any of the other 17 nations. But if your seed line by the lineage of your father goes back to the man named Israel in the Bible, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you look like. So in this lesson, I just want to do a little bit of a commentary on, well, not a commentary, but just a little response to the new mandate that was pushed out by the apostles about how we're not supposed to engage in ad hominem attacks when we're rebuking people, particularly Israelites. I mean, if it's a heathen, it doesn't really matter because heathens are heathens. But at the end of the day, Israelites who are confused and lost, they might be sincerely lost, and if you deal harshly with someone like that, who may sincerely be looking for the truth, but they just haven't arrived at it yet, and if you're cursing them out with ad hominem attacks, it's not really that edifying, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, all we're supposed to do is preach the word. We're not supposed to be like, you can think of it this way, like if you're in the street and you're not going to go up to someone and start beating them up and forcing them to receive the truth. You're not going to physically go and assault someone and say, you have to believe in this truth. No, it doesn't work like that. So when you're beating someone up verbally, because words are powerful and they carry a lot of weight, words carry, it's kind of like a similar thing. You're kind of beating someone up rather than helping to build someone up, if that makes sense. And at the end of the day, even if the person who you're rebuking, because we're supposed to rebuke, they might not get the truth, they might not be of the elect, but someone who's watching might not be able to tell the difference between two people who are just having an argument. They might not be able to see, hang on a minute, this guy's dealing in a much more eloquent way, rather than just hurling insults and making fun of people's names, calling them, various things. Now, I've got to put my hands up and say, that's something that I'm personally very guilty of myself, because something... It's like it's just notification. Something that I've always been good at, like just naturally, I'm very good with words, and I've always been good at, verbal insults. I can, I'm good at making, rhymes out of people's names, or doing stuff like that. It's a talent that the Lord's blessed me with. But the whole point is that there's a time and a place for everything, and right now, this is the time to preach the word. That's it. We're not supposed to get into back and forth with people over foolishness, which isn't edifying. So it's all about edification. So with that being said, I want to bring out a few scriptures and a few precepts to help hopefully edify and establish this point. So one thing I was thinking about is in the Gospels, when Yahushua was being accused by the high priests and the elders, and they brought all kinds of accusations against him. Did Yahushua stand there and start, cussing people out and saying, yeah, but what about this you did and what about that you did? Because best believe Yahushua knew everything that his accusers were doing. He knew all of their dark secrets, and because he could read spirits. But did Yahushua curse them out? No. He held his peace because he knew that he was supposed to be the lamb that was led to the slaughter. So he kept silent and he just accepted the will of Yahweh, which obviously was a very, very... that showed a very high level of spiritual control and self-restraint. And that's the whole point I'm trying to bring out here, is that in this truth, we're not supposed to be staying on one level. You know, when you come into this truth, it makes a man out of you. But the whole point of becoming a man is that you grow in this truth, and you grow in your faith, and you learn more and more with each passing day how to put off the old man that was in the world, and how to put on the new man and put on the mind of Yahushua, and really rise above those carnal temptations. Because if I could be honest, I'd say that when you're cursing someone out, you know, it feels good to the flesh, you know, but spiritually it's not really a very spiritual thing to do. And we're supposed to be becoming more spiritual as we grow in this truth. So I just need to do something for a moment. Bear with me. So I just have to do something. So yeah, it's not really that edifying, and really it's supposed to be becoming more spiritual, as I said. So let's get into this account. So this is Matthew 26:57. It says, and when they laid hold on Yahushua, and when they had laid hold on Yahushua, led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off into the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and elders, all the council, sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death. So this isn't a light thing. These people were seeking for false witnesses, basically liars, to come up so that they could put Yahushua to death. Now, let's put yourself in your situation. Like, if it was me in that situation and I was on trial, and you had these false accusers coming up and talking all kinds of shit about me. See, this is the thing. I'm a man in the flesh. My flesh would want to respond to be like, nah, man, you're talking shit, man, and all this kind of stuff. I'd be cursing them out. But Yahushua didn't do that. He held his peace, even though they were falsely accusing him. And that shows a very, very, very high level of spiritual control and spiritual self-restraint. So let's continue. Now the chief priests and elders all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet they found none. And at the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of the Most High and build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? Which is it what is it which these witness against thee? But Yahushua held his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living power, that thou tell us whether thou be the Hamashiach, the Son of the Most High. And Yahushua saith unto him, thou hast said. Nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. And the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he hath spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy. So basically, Yahushua told the truth. And he didn't say, fuck you, high priest, or anything like that. You're a lying sack of shit. No, he just says, look, man, thou hast said, nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see the Son of Man sitting in the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. So Yahushua kept it spiritual. He didn't lose his cool. The high priest rent his clothes and shit. So it goes on, it says, what think ye? They answered and said, he is guilty of death. And here's the point, listen to this. Then they did spit in his face, buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands. So basically they started beating him up, yeah? Saying, prophesy unto us, thou Hamashiach, who is it that smote thee? So they were taunting him, basically people punching him and saying, why don't you prophesy and tell us who punched you? But Yahushua just took it. So that was that point I wanted to bring out on that. And there's another point where they smote him with a reed. Let me get that, if I could find it. Here's another one, yeah. Matthew 27:11. And Yahushua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, art thou the king of the Jews? And Yahushua said unto him, thou sayest. See, Yahushua was hardly saying a damn word. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, hearest thou not how many these things witness they against thee? And he answered him, never a word. insomuch as the governor marveled greatly. See, that's the kind of spirit we've got to be in now, man. This is a beautiful example of the spirit that we're supposed to be in. And it says, let me see where they smote him with the read if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Matthew 27 and 26. Then released he Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged Yahushua, he said unto him, he delivered him to be crucified, Salakia. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua into the common hall and gathered him to the whole band of soldiers. So there's a whole army of soldiers just there. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail the King of the Jews. And they spit on him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put on his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. Now this is the thing, man. Yahushua did all this and suffered in silence, basically. Yeah. Let's go further. It says, Matthew 27:35, and they crucified him and parted his garments. Now let me go from Matthew 27:33. And when they were come unto the place called Golgotha, which is to say a place of the skull, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. When they crucified him and parted his garments, cast in lots, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, they parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head the accusation written, This is the King of the Jews. And there were two thieves crucified over him, one on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself, if thou be the Son of the Most High, come down off the cross. Likewise also the chief priests, mocking him, and with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in the Most High. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him, for he saith, I am the Son of the Most High. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. So basically, these people were talking mad shit. Mad shit they were spitting. But Yahushua suffered in silence. Now, I want to go to Psalms 22. Let me see Psalm 22. I think that might be the one I want. Which details how Yahushua felt at this point in time. Yes. So Psalm 22 is a prophecy of how Yahushua felt at the time of his crucifixion. So these are the things that he felt in his spirit and he was suffering for wrongfully. But he held his peace. But let's get into Psalms 22 to see how he was feeling. It says, To the chief musician upon Agileth Shahar, a psalm of David. My power, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from my words of my roaring? O my power, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest me not, and in the night season I am not silent. But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee, they trusted, and thou did deliverest them. They cried unto thee, and were delivered. They trusted in thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. All that see me laugh me to scorn, and they shoot out the lip. They shake their head, saying, He trusted in the Most High, that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing that he delighted in him. But thou art he that took me out of the womb. Thou did makest me hope when I was upon my mother's breasts. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my power from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me, strong bulls of Bashan have beset me around. They have gaped upon me with their mouths, as a ravening and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax, it is melted in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws. And thou hast brought me into the dust of death. For dogs have compassed me, The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me, they pierced my hands and my feet. I might tell all my bones, they look and they stare upon me. They part my garments among them, and have cast lots upon my vesture. Be not far from me, O power, O Yahweh, I should say, O my strength, haste thee to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation I will praise thee. Ye that fear Yahweh, praise him, and all ye the seed of Jacob, glorify him, and fear him, all ye the seed of Israel. For he hath not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither have ye hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. My praise shall be of thee in great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise Yahweh that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto Yahweh, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. For the kingdom is Yahweh's, and he is the governor among the nations. All they that be fat upon the earth shall eat and worship, and all they that go down to the dust shall bow before him. None can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him, it shall be accounted to the Lord's for a generation. They shall come and they shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born. He have done this. So basically that's Psalm 22. And that basically describes how Yahushua felt. And this is what he was praying in the spirit. But he didn't utter any words of rebuke or slander or, insults at the people who afflicted him, because he had governance over his own tongue. So I want to talk briefly about controlling your tongue, because that's something that they say the tongue is harder, one of the most difficult things to tame. Let me see if I can find some precepts on that. I want to go back to Proverbs. Let me just bear with me a second. I'm just finding some precepts. Bear with me, Slakia. Alright. Proverbs 10 and 20 is a good one to start with. It says, the tongue of the just is as choice silver, but the heart of the wicked is of little worth. Yeah? The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. Proverbs 10 and 31 says, the mouth of the just bring forth wisdom, but a forward tongue shall be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh forwardness. Proverbs 12 and 18. Just going to get some of these precepts on governance of the tongue. So Proverbs 12 and 18 says, there is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. That's a good one. Proverbs 12 and 19. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is for a moment. Proverbs 15 and 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of the fools poureth out foolishness. Proverbs 15 and 4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. Proverbs 16 and 1. The preparations in the heart of man and the answer of the tongue is from Yahweh. Proverbs 17 and 4. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker, and he that is glad at calamity shall not be unpunished. It's a good little one there. Proverbs 17:20. He that hath a forward heart findeth no good, and he that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. Proverbs 18 and 21 is a beautiful one. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Beautiful precept. Proverbs 21 and 6. It says, the getting of treasures by a lying tongue and a vanity tossed to is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. Yeah, Proverbs 25:15. It says, by long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Yeah, I think I can stop there. Unless I want to get some in Sirach, perhaps. I think I do. I think I do. Yeah. Sirach 32:8 is the one I'm going to get. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth yet, and holdeth his tongue. Yeah? So I'm going to end it on that. Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying. So giving all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to you, Arkim, pushing this word in faith and in truth and in sincerity. And with that, till I'm able to do another lesson, Lord willing, I'll say shalom.